angels and then being part of the galactic community. So
Okay.
I would have to say between now and 2024. But in the event that it doesn't occur, it's because there's been massive timeline wars taking place between the good guys and the bad guys that could have altered the timeline to a later date, which would have to be no later than 2026, 2028 at solar maximum, and that's when the sun is going to be at its fullest potential activity.
Okay, so if that's the case, then that would mean that the whole metaverse thing we won't even see, because if they're planning on that being 2030 when they do the complete, cyborg whatever, that's not even going to be something that we would experience, right?
Exactly. Yes. There's going to be a bifurcation of timelines, though. The cyborg timeline that has to do with the AI is not going to happen in the ascending positive timeline. That's only going to happen for those that don't make the ascending positive timeline.
Right.
So that's going to be an alternative universe and an alternative reality.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right. That's a good thing to know. With the new Earth, will our consciousness be literally in a new surrounding? Like, will we be in a different Earth dimension? We're not going to see this plane anymore.
Well, it's still going to be here. It's just going to be at a higher dimensional octave or frequency, I'm sorry, than the one that we're currently existing in.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's going to be here. It's just going to be it's in the Tara version of the Earth. The Tara version of the Earth never left. It's still here. It's just operating in the fifth dimension.
Okay. So if we are ascending and we are then in that dimension, would that mean that we are not living like in our homes? Like, is it, you know what I mean? Are we still living like our lives, but they can't see us?
Your homes are going to be different. You're going to have your ideal home. Everyone's going to be able to have whatever they want. For those that go into the fifth dimension, by the power of their thought, they're going to manifest their reality. For those that are going into the fourth dimension, which consists of the majority of humans, they're going to have replicators, which is going to allow them to give them anything they want, as far as physical things and stuff. But is your question more like, is our home still going to look the same? Like, am I still going to have my silver wings behind me after the ascension?
Right.
Is what you're saying?
Like, what is it going to be like?
It's probably still going to look the same, but our bodies are going to be different. It's going to be a different type of overall society. It's not going to be the world that we see today.
Okay. And this is part of the question people have been asking with our families, right? So if your families are not ascending with you, you can see them, but they can't see you?
If your family's in the fourth dimension, they won't be able to see you unless you lower your frequency into the fourth dimension from the fifth dimension.
Okay.
Yeah, so not everyone's going to the same place. There's going to be different levels of upgrades, and then there's going to be different levels depending on your level of consciousness and your vibration. That will determine on which dimensional Earth you're in. Because see, right now, all the dimensions are coexisting here in the now. It's just that they're operating on different vibrations. So our body, depending on your level of vibration, your body's going to transfigure in order to match that frequency that you're going to end up in.
Okay. So we're trying to wrap our minds around a lot of this, right? Like we have been, and how that all would work. But I guess the more you try to figure that out, the more suffering that you will inflict upon yourself. You just got to go with it. You just got to go with the flow, right?
Yeah, you just have to also enjoy the process of transformation. It's not just about the destination. It's like a lot of people are very anxious about I want to be in the 50th Earth. I want to be in the 50th Earth. But they're not enjoying the process that we're all undergoing to get to the 50th Earth, and that is, the transformational process of ourselves. Not only mentally, emotionally, but also physically. First we ascend with our mind. Once we consciously ascend into a multidimensional state of awareness, then our body follows, and that's when our body changes to match our new consciousness.
Right. Like ultimately, this is the best time to be alive. Like to be able to know what it's like to be in complete programming, which everyone's been in at some point, and I mean, maybe not you because you were a kid already, like, what the heck, I have these abilities and all this stuff going on, right? So it's like we go from this density and we're watching our own selves and the people around us transform in so many ways, choosing peace over chaos and choosing love over hate and making the conscious decision, even though it's still hard out here. It can be very difficult, And that's where the strength comes in, and that's where the courage comes in. And I just want everybody to just remember that, like, that's what being a light warrior is. You are going through the war right now. You've been going through it, you know? And here we are, still ascending, still being conscious and choosing the light every day. And it has to be a conscious decision, you know?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You know, this is a decision that we're all facing every second of the day. From the moment we wake up, you know, we have the choice in life, you know, and we could either set our intention with our thoughts and our emotions, depending on what we're thinking and feeling, and that will determine, you know, the outcome. So I always tell people it's very important to just always be mindful of your thoughts, you know, because your thoughts and your emotions are constantly dictating and co-creating the circumstances that you're going to experience in life.
Right. Absolutely. This lady had a question that I thought was actually something I thought about as well. So, you know how they say, or whatever it is, that we would be like a 30-year-old, like we would be in our prime, right, on New Earth. What about children?
Children are still going to be children. They're just going to they're going to age a little faster in a sense where they're going to, okay, so for the older people, they're going to regress back to being 30. Children are just going to have more of an increase as far as like their maturity is concerned, because, you know, we're going to be under a new educational system. You know, the old paradigm, the old way of doing things is going to be obliterated. You know, we're going to be taking it back to how it was in Atlantis and Lemuria before the infiltration of the dark forces. So every kid is going to have about 6 different mentors, all specializing in different aspects of life. Like, for instance, one teacher is going to be the teacher that is going to teach the child how to meditate, you know, concentration abilities, how to increase their consciousness, how to have mind over matter, you know, how to focus. Another mentor is going to teach the child physical agility, you know, strength, you know, exercise, you know, workouts and stuff like that. Another instructor is going to teach the child, you know, real history, not the, you know, hogwash that we've learned, but real galactic and cosmic history. So, I mean, all that stuff is going to be so much better for children in the New Earth. Children are going to have all the tools and resources necessary for them to reach their full potential and to become, you know, positive contributors to the whole in the New Earth.
Leading into that, actually, somebody was just asking if I channel. The only time that I've been able to channel, it's just been with the Sirius star system and with the Sirians. I didn't know that I had spent predominantly most of my time with Sirius. You know, it's just a download that came to me, and I started learning more. I just wanted to answer that for them. Ultimately, I believe that we are able to tap into our higher selves, you know, and just learning how to meditate and do that and trust that you are getting what you're getting. We're all able to do that. You know, it just takes the conscious decision and learning how to quiet the thoughts to get there. That's how I've learned how to do that. But I didn't want to lose my train of thought with the children. And you had talked about bodies and the physicality of it. So if we are in more, what is it? We go from carbon to, is it called silica? Is that how I say it?
It's actually from carbon to crystalline. But first, okay, so in harmonic universe number 1, where dimensions 1, 2, and 3 exist, we use carbon-based DNA. And that's why we're mortal, that's why we bleed, that's why our bodies, you know, age. In the harmonic universe number 2, where our Earth is going to be entering back as it reemerges back with Terra, we're going to be existing in dimensions 4, 5, and 6. And in dimensions 4, 5, and 6, we're still using a combination of carbon-based DNA and crystalline-based DNA. So, like, say, for instance, in the 4th dimension, it's going to be 75% carbon-based DNA and 25% crystalline-based DNA. In the 5th dimensional Earth, which is where all of the star seeds are going, and the celestials that are here in human form, we're going to be using 50-50, which is going to be awesome. You know, we're going to be able to be as physical, but yet also have the opportunity or the ability to be, you know, one with the energy field. In other words, to convert our mass into pure energy and travel anywhere we want at the speed of light. So that's going to be one of the things that we're going to do using 50% crystalline DNA and then 50% carbon-based DNA. Now, as we get into the 6th dimension, for those that do go into the 6th dimension, they're going to be using 75% crystalline DNA and only 25% carbon DNA. Now, in harmonic universe number 3, where we will be in dimensions 7, 8, and 9, at that point we're just using pure crystalline DNA. There is no carbon-based DNA. In harmonic universe number 4, where we enter dimensions 10, 11, and 12, we use a higher level of vehicle blueprint that is known as hydroplasmic DNA, and that is beyond crystalline. That's, you know, beings that come from that level of reality are 15 to 34 feet tall. They would appear to us, but they're huge. That explains the creator gods, right? And then
Right.
beyond that, once we enter dimensions 13, 14, and 15, then we don't use any physical matter. At that point, we're just pure light. It's called
Wow.
the antimatter body. That's what they call it. Beyond hydroplasmic genetics, then we go into where our spirit is vibrating at such a high frequency that it is enabled to encapsulate in any physical form or in any form. It's just everywhere at once. You're just one with all that is. So you could be anything. You could be any planet, any star, any galaxy, whenever you want. Because at that point of reality, you're merged with the totality of everything that is, which is what science now calls unified field, and that's what we're all heading.
Wow. Isn't that amazing?
Yeah, we have a bright future ahead of us.
If more of us knew. They're getting there. We're getting
yes,
there. We are getting there. Okay, let me read more about this. I had the opportunity to raise their consciousness. Okay, so did I ask you this? What will happen to our families and friends that are not able to make the ascension? Will they have the opportunity to raise their consciousness and be a part of the new earth once we are there?
Yes. Even those souls that make it into the fourth dimensional earth, which are the people like the regular person that is not wicked, right? Only the wicked are not going to make it into the heart, a new octave of reality. Those people are going to still have the opportunity to continue ascending and reach higher levels of reality because they're going to be mentored by the people in the fifth dimension. And then in turn, the people in the sixth dimension are going to be the mentors of those in the fifth dimension, and that's how it works. So we're going to educate them in how to go into higher levels of reality and stuff.
Okay.
Through meditation and stuff. Mm-hmm.
So if we're helping them ascend and we are in the fifth dimension, they want to be able to see us. So are we helping them this through intent?
No, we're going to help them. No, the thing is, we're going to be able to materialize a fourth dimensional vehicle by lowering our frequency. Yeah, we're going to be able to manifest a physical form. See, physicality exists all the way to the 12th dimension. Yeah, beyond the 12th dimension, we don't use physicality. That's when we graduate into the realms of antimatter. Remember, I was talking about the different harmonic universes and how each one is associated with a particular genetic blueprint, from carbon-based crystalline to hydroplasmic to antimatter. So within the 12-dimensional matrix of our reality, we have physical form. Beyond the 12th dimension, then we go into the antimatter, which is pure light. But to answer your questions, the beings in the fifth dimension are going to be able to pop into reality in the fourth dimension, as well as the beings in the sixth dimension. Yeah, the higher you are in dimensions, the more access to more dimensions you have. In other words,
right? Okay, understandable. It's interesting actually because I don't know if you know much about like the LDS religion, like Mormon religion. I live in Utah, so I grew up with it a lot. But they actually teach this like celestial, telestial thing, right? Where it's like if you're in the celestial, you can go down to the telestial and the terrestrial. And it's funny because as I ascend more and more consciously, it's funny how like that message, there is truth in that in a sense. And it's just the way that it's being brought on. Like, oh, you can only get there if you're worthy, instead of like, oh, it's all within you and you just have to reach that place in your being,
the deep doctrine of the Latter-day Saint Church is accurate, dead on. Actually, Joseph Smith was an Arcturian. He was a starseed, but his successor, Brigham Young, who was working for the Jesuits and the Cabal, infiltrated the church from day one. And that's how the church became fundamentalist as well. But the original purpose of creating the church back in 1832 was to reestablish the ancient mystery school teachings, which has a lot to do with the information that is now coming forward. So
that's really good to know. I'm actually like kind of related to Joseph Smith. And
nice.
So throughout my like life, in Utah, people would be like just like totally, idolized by that in a sense, but I didn't know much about that, like what it was all about. So that's really cool to know that he was Arcturian.
Yeah, he was even going to give the priesthood, the Melchizedek priesthood, to the women. But then Brigham Young came in and changed everything around and kept it as a male-dominating patriarchal religion like all the other religions. So in the restoration of the new earth, the Melchizedek priesthood will be also given to the women as well. The women are going to be high priestesses equal to the men. It's going to be back to the way it was in Lemuria and Atlantis, which was the original intention of Joseph Smith. But again, his concept became corrupted by the infiltration of Brigham Young.
Right. Wow, that's amazing. Thank you for letting me know that. Seriously, I'm so stoked to have that information right now. Is that in your book? Do you talk about that religion stuff in your book? I don't have your book. I just found you like 2 months ago.
I don't necessarily go deep into the Mormon Church, but I do elaborate on their deep doctrine regarding how we humans on Earth are like gods in the training to become, overseers and guardians of planets, galaxies, and then ultimately inherit our own universe. That part is accurate. We are here to learn how to become creators of our own universes, so that eventually we become omni kings and omni queens and oversee our own creations. That aspect of deep LDS doctrine is accurate, but everything else has been, infiltrated and corrupted.
Wow. Thank you for that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Okay. What will happen to this Earth plane? Will it be quarantined for restoration? Will the people stuck in the 3D just stay here until Earth self-destructs?
Not at all. There will be no destruction. There's going to be a translation of realities, depending on which timeline you end up. So there's going to be multiple timelines that are going to be splitting. As far as like a positive timeline is concerned, we do have that, and then a negative timeline. The only negative timeline is going to be the AI timeline. But
Okay. Beautiful. That's good to know, because a lot of the stuff that we hear about with the new Earth that I have found is about like with the splitting of worlds, right? And then you have like Earth over with disclosure, I feel like it's already kind of happening. I know you talked about with the Georgia Guidestones. So with those, you're saying that it was the Galactics.
well, the
With
White
that?
Hats, but yeah, the White Hats who inherited technology from the Galactics.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then what was that other one that you had posted about with the tower? I can't remember where it was that was like hit by lightning the next day.
Well, those are the different monuments that were erected by the Cabal, and
Yeah.
I think within the last week, a lot of them have been struck by technology called the Iron Rod of God, which is pretty much it's directed weaponry. Directed weaponry that the Alliance inherited from, they took it from the Cabal, because the Cabal had been using direct weaponry for quite some time, So ever since they stripped the Cabal down to just, savages, they took away all their technologies. The White Hats have been using that technology against the Cabal now. So that's what's been happening right now.
So they're taking their power back.
Yeah, the White Hats definitely took everything from the Cabal. They stripped the Cabal from everything, and now, they're all being forced to step down. All the prime ministers, the Queen of England, something's been happening in the last week and a half, where it's like all of a sudden, all these people in power are just like, all right, I'm going to quit, because they know they. I'm sorry, yeah, the gig's up. They know they've been checkmated.
Yeah, for sure. Thinking about that, actually, I have a question. So, what about like have they been? I'm sure they have, but what about all like the sex trafficking and like the tunnels and all of that? Have those been taken down? Has there been a stop to it? Do you know what's going on with that?
As of May 6th of this year, yes. As of 2 months ago, all the tunnels have been secured. The last of them that were waiting to be secured were located in the Ukraine, and thanks to the White Hat operation through Russia, they were able to also secure a lot of those underground tunnels and stuff, and of course blow up all the biolabs that were meant to develop weapons of biogenetic weapons of mass destruction. In other words, they were going to release some killer viruses that was going to really kill off 3/4 of the population, but thanks to Mr. P from Russia, they saved billions.
Wow, that's amazing. Yay, I'm so glad to hear that. Yeah. Okay. Oh, okay, so I wanted to ask you this. You had brought this up, but I wanted to go into more detail about this. What can you tell us about the sun that China created? What is that about?
Yeah, they've been working on creating this artificial sun through fusion or fission. Can't even pronounce that word. But anyways, they were successful about a month ago, and ever since they've been kind of using that as a portal for dark energies to open up dark portals. So CERN is not a concern anymore. CERN has been secured by the White Hats, but now the CCP in China, who know that their time is up, they're trying to use that as a last resource to create havoc by opening up some dark portals. But Luckily, because the Earth is the most important planet in the multiverse, the Celestials that are overseeing the development of the Earth have stepped in order to, close off the portals so that the positive ascending timeline can continue to be secure.
So the sun, that's done.
Yeah, the artificial sun is done. Yeah, I don't
Okay.
have to worry about China's sun anymore.
No
It
more
was only,
fear.
yeah, no more fear mongering.
Yeah, we're done with that. That's good to know. I never even heard about that until you did a video about it. Wait, you did talk about that, right? I thought I
I,
saw you talk
I
about
believe
that.
I did.
You
Yeah,
brought it
I think
up
I
in
covered it.
like one of your reels or something. Okay. Um,
Or maybe that was
okay.
brought up on an interview. I don't remember, but I
Yeah,
did talk
no,
about
I
that.
think it was brought up on an interview. It may have been with Taylor.
Oh,
With
yes, the
yeah,
podcast we did on Thursday. That's
yes,
right.
that one. Okay, so this is a big question, and I really feel like it's like really good for people to kind of get more clarity on what this means.
Okay.
What does 144,000 mean?
It relates to two things, It relates to the inner core of the Starseed Nation, which are a group of 144,000 individuals who are the most powerful beings in the multiverse. They're considered actually Elohim, gods and goddesses. But it also relates to how a group within the 144,000, I'm sorry, it also has a lot to do with those individuals that are part of the 104,000 also have up to 144,000 strands of DNA, which is like unbelievable. The most strands that of DNA that has ever existed in the multiverse, used by beings have been 48. So 144,000 is like next level up stuff. That's a lot of genetic material.
So it
So,
is because I think people get confused with like it's not that it's 144,000 physical bodies
oh, it
that
is.
are here.
Yeah,
It is?
yeah, they're here. Yes, and those are
Okay.
also considered like the ascended ones, the ascended masters, and ladies of light that have returned. They make
Okay.
up the core of the 144,000. See, collectively, the Starseed nations, collectively, the Starseeds with the 144,000 are the return of the host of heaven. They are the return of the angelics in human form. So,
Okay.
some call them the return of the White Brotherhood of Light, the sisterhood and brotherhood of the Order of Light. So there's different names to describe the overall group of the Starseed nations. But the Starseeds are collectively the return of the host of heaven. They are the ones that all the religions were writing about when they talked about the return of these elect or these, superhumans that would one day
Right.
rise and destroy all evil and usher in a golden age. That's what they were talking about.
And that's us.
Absolutely. Yeah.
That's us. We're the light warriors. Here's a good question. I think for people that are, they feel like they're being called to, they have this purpose, but they're just getting there, right? How would somebody know that they are a part of this? How would they know that, in your words?
It's an inner feeling. It's an inner knowing. Just like most people that are starseeds, just know that they're not from here. They know that there's, something's wrong with this world, right? So they rebel from an early age. They question things, and those are the people that normally, lean towards like learning about metaphysics, aliens, and stuff like that. But it's an inner knowing. It's an inner knowing. It's also an inner understanding that you're part of something bigger than just being human and raising a family and working a 9 to 5. So it's an inner knowing that comes with downloads. That comes with having what most would consider strange dreams. And in these dreams, you're like you have superpowers. You're doing things that normally you couldn't do in the physical world. But yet you're like flying, teleporting. You're shooting laser with your eyes. You know what I mean? You have
Yeah.
telekinesis. People that have dreams like that, it's because they are the 144,000.
Right. It's funny. I have a lot of dreams, and even so lately, where I have like very distinct demons in my dreams that I'm fighting off. And I'll be like fighting off these demons and like rounding up my people and like getting them out of there and stuff. And in the past, maybe that would have been like a nightmare, but now it's like cool to me. I'm like, oh yeah, I slayed some dragons last night. I slayed some demons last night.
Oh yeah, and that's another feature of the 144,000. Oh, that's another thing that they experience is that when their bodies is sleeping at nighttime, they're in the astral world. They're off kicking ass. They're destroying archons. They're destroying demons. Serpents, anything, dark energies. They're spiritual warriors. If they only knew how powerful they were in the other dimensions, they would probably feel different about their day as they go on.
Absolutely. I know. That's what I tell people. I'm like, if you only knew how powerful you truly, truly are and what you really come from, these minor inconveniences, these low frequency emotions and suffering, they would mean nothing to you. Yeah, we feel them, right? And we move them, but to attach to them is just silly when you have so many amazing things and capabilities.
Hmm.
But we have to learn that. I've been there too.
And also, a lot of the star seeds have been used in the secret space programs as super soldiers. It's just that not a lot of them have their memories of that. So, yeah, a lot of the super soldiers were recruited from those that had the extraterrestrial genetics within their body.
Okay.
So
Um,
the veil becomes more lifted every day, and as more codons become activated, there's going to be many star seeds that are actually going to retrieve their memories regarding these programs that they served in.
right. I have a question. It's not written down, but it just
Hmm.
made me think. What do you think about this whole can you give me insight on this alien breeding program where people, have had experiences where they've been taken and they've been bred? Is that higher ups doing something with DNA, galactic stuff, or is it low frequency stuff? Do you know?
Well, okay, so there was this project which is no longer in operation. The Galactics have actually already cleared this procedure, but it involved the Greys from Zeta Reticula, the Orions, some of the Orion Greys known as the Naboo, as well as the Ebens from the star system of Mintaka, and then in collaboration with beings from a planet known as the Vetra, beings known as the Vetra from planet Nikote. They've been involved in extracting genetics from the Earth in order to create human gray hybrids. And that explains the black eye kids. I don't know if you ever heard that phenomenon. The black eye kids?
I'm
Okay.
no.
Okay, so what happened was is since the 60s, they started these programs in secret. These programs were associated with the Dark Fleet and the interplanetary corporate conglomerate. Of course, our secret government received, technology as in exchange to give these aliens our people in order to conduct experiments genetically and then use them as hybrids, right? And so what they would do is they would, take these women from the earth and they would impregnate them with a gray sperm, and then they would create these hybrids, half human, half grays. Well, the whole purpose of creating these hybrids was to have a connection to the earth, so that when these children became matured and fully developed, that the whole purpose of this plan was to have these children come back to the earth and just destroy the entire planet. But that agenda was luckily averted by the Federation High Council. So those programs aren't going to be, they've been canceled. We don't have anything to worry about those programs. And a lot of those mothers that were used as surrogate mothers to, develop these babies have actually also been healed and restored.
Amazing. That's good
Yeah.
to know. How do you feel about what do you know about Trump? Is that coming back? Are we
Yeah.
going through that?
Oh yeah. Well, he's definitely coming back
Okay.
very soon.
Really?
Yeah. There's nothing holding, there's nothing that's going to stop what's coming. This has all been prophesied about. This timeline that we're in is the highest optimal positive timeline that the Y Hats and the Alliance secured, thanks to the time glass, or what they call the looking glass technology, and thanks to time travel, which they inherited, back in the 50s as well.
Right. Well, thank you for that. I've been
Yeah, of
wanting to
course.
know. Okay, so can you tell us more about the Order of Melchizedek and what that is?
Well, the original order is known as the Emerald Covenant, and that is at the highest level of reality, that is the order in which all the forces of light operate under. They adhere to the principles of law of one, which has to do with unity consciousness and service to others. Within the order of the Emerald Covenant, we have different branches. We have the Amethyst Order, we have the Ruby Order, and then above the Emerald Covenant, we also have the Silver Order and the Gold Order. The Gold Order is like at the head. They represent what is called the celestial spheres, or the Order of Prime Creator Source, which is known as the Order of the Council of One. But then underneath them, you have the Council of Seven, and then underneath that, you have the Council of 13. So there's different spiritual councils that oversee the overall development of all the multiverses. Now, at a galactic level of reality, they operate under the order of the Ruby Covenant, the Amethyst, and the Emerald Covenant, and that explains the Galactic Confederation, the Syrian High Council, and the different councils of light that are stationed in every part of our galaxy, in every system, and in every planet. They're all working together, including those ascended beings known as the Ascended Masters that are part of the Ruby Order, that are working together to liberate the earth. But collectively, they're all known as the Great White Brotherhood. Nothing to do with skin color, but it has to do with their association with the light, and the brotherhood and sisterhood of light. So, in terms of our world, they have been known as the Order of Melchizedek. The Order of Melchizedek, which gives us the priesthood of Melchizedek, stems all the way from Lyra and Sirius. That's where it was first anchored into our galaxy. And through the guardian races that came to our Earth in ancient times, they were able to bring that order and establish it here. And then, of course, it went through Abraham when Melchizedek, I guess, created the covenant with Abraham, and through the original Israelites, not the fake Zionist Jews that are opposing us Israel today, but the real descendants of Israel, Jesus, Mary, Magdalene. They're part of that covenant. They're part of that lineage or priesthood of Melchizedek and priestess, because it's equal. They venerate the mother goddess as much as they do, the masculine aspect of God. So they bring it into balance.
Wow, beautiful. Oh, okay. So I'm really excited because I really want to know about this. Will you please tell us about some of your past lives?
Sure. So local, I guess, recent lives that I've remembered was about 600 years ago. I was a guardian of the earth, wizard type like Gandalf, white magic, healer, man of the mountains, they would call me. I had a purple robe with yellow lining, and I lived on top of a peak of a mountain, and I was like a seer and guardian of the kingdoms of light, as opposed to the Vatican that was building the kingdoms of darkness. So they called me the man of the mountains. That was one of my last incarnations as a guardian of earth, wizard man, whatever you want to call it. I had a beard down to here. I was very tall, 6'5", very built, but I was like, I lived for a few thousand years. I didn't die like the rest of the people. Before that, I do have a lifetime as Solomon, King Solomon, son of David. Solomon the Wise. And then as far as in terms of who I was in the galactic history, I know I was the king of Lyra, just because that's where I received a lot of my memories. So I'm at the head of the Lyrian and Syrian Council. I also had a life in Sirius when my people formed an alliance with the Syrian High Council. We created another bloodline called the Anuhasi, and that was the original Niburians, before they were infiltrated by the Draco. And I was known as Kael in Sirius. And then beyond that, I was also associated with the kingdom of Alcyon here in the Pleiadians. So, I've always been born in the same lineage. So wow. I guess today that lineage comes from King David, right?
Yeah, that's awesome. And how old were you when you started having your first downloads about your past lives and such? How did that start?
It's probably about 24, 25. That's when I started having visions of me in different bodies, still looking the same. I've always looked the same, though. It's just the times I had a beard, long hair. Sometimes it was short. So I've always looked different, but same features, same colored eyes, same body structure. I was always 6'3" at least. I was never short or anything.
Did you choose that? Do you choose that?
Yeah, of course. It's part of my overall monad. I am the culmination of all my ancestors. They all live through me now. So, yeah, I chose everything.
Yeah, I call it a generational curse stopper. That's what we are right now. We're like the door stoppers, handing those generational curses.
well, this is the last incarnation. These are the bodies that we're going to keep when we transform into angelic humanoids and become immortal again. These are the bodies that we're going to actually keep until we ascend past the 12th dimension. And then at that point, we just become one with everything. We're able to encase any form we want. We could be a whole universe, a whole multiverse, universe, galaxy, planet, solar system, whatever we want.
Yeah, and I have felt that on a deep energetic level for a long time. With my past life previously to this one, I was in a form where I really hated my form, and there was something about the judgment that I had on that form. And this time around, I know that the form that I have chosen, I'm just so grateful for it, right? I just feel like I'm so glad I chose this body and that I can keep this one and look this way because it fits my personality and my energy, and I just love it. So I'm glad to know that.
Everybody had a chance to pick their body for their final incarnation.
Yeah, and I feel that because it's just, I feel it, especially like with mine, because, I'm just so grateful every day. I'm like, man, I'm so glad that I chose to just be healthy, like just, and just happy. And I mean, I wasn't always happy. I used to be a miserable person because I didn't know my strength. I didn't know my power. And then when I started tapping into that, I was like, wow, how many people just go about their whole life not knowing what it feels like to feel good, like to feel the love of God, you know? and embody that and bring others along with them. Okay. What message do you have from the Galactics or whoever you are speaking with specifically that would benefit us all to hear right now as part of our mission and what we need to be focused on for ascension?
I guess the only message at this point is that we won the war. We have nothing to worry about. The only thing we should be concerned with at this point is co-creating our heaven on earth, and only setting our intentions in the things that we would like to experience and the things that we want to manifest. You know, so yeah, the Galactics are very well pleased. They're happy with the star seeds. They're very excited about their new role as the star seeds become, at the head of the new Super Federation Intergalactic Council that is now forming in our solar system as I speak. So they're very excited for us. They don't want us to worry about anything because in a way they're us and we're them. When we have this multi-dimensional collapse, right, called the Ascension, a lot of us are going to be reuniting with our galactic selves and stuff, which is going to be awesome. We do exist in different dimensions, by the way. So we have a galactic self, we have a North Self, Christ self, and then everything in between.
And when you channel, what are you channeling?
Well, it all depends. Sometimes I'm in communication with Ashtar, the real Sharon Ashtar, of the Airborne Division of the Great White Brotherhood, who's overseeing the different Federation fleets here in our solar system. And then I'm also in contact with Commander Georges Sedes Hatan, who is the commander of the Palladian forces. I'm also in contact with Commander Kortek, who's in charge of the Interplanetary Communication Network, making sure that the starseeds get the proper transmissions and downloads. I'm also working with a group of ninth dimensional collectives known as the Rock Confederacy, and that consists of various groups, mainly the Azurites, who are at the highest level of the Rock Confederacy, coming from Harmonic Universe number 5. And then I'm also working with the Central Race, which is the oldest race in the multiverse. It's a race in which everybody comes from. Those are like the progenitors of all species, of all human-like species. So there are our ancestors, and also there are us in the future. So yeah, I'm like, I guess, receiving data from all these different levels of reality.
Oh my goodness. I feel like you got so much information that like I just like my mind is just blown. Like it just flows out of you too. Like it's just embedded in you. You can tell, it just flows right out of you. It's amazing. Um, well, I guess I will ask you, is there anything that you want to talk about as far as topics go that you feel like you want people to know?
Hmm. As far as like having a message for the collective right now, no, I don't have anything to say at this point. But every time I get a transmission or a download, I always make a video or something. So when the time
Right.
comes, I'll make a video and I'll put out a video and give some more information. But like as far as like in this moment in time, no, I don't have anything to say other than I appreciate everyone's support and love and just everything that you guys are doing, as well in your own work. I acknowledge and I recognize that all the star seeds are actually contributing to this ascension. I feel it. I feel the work of everyone, and I just want to give you guys or extend gratitude for the service that you all do. Because we are all a team. So I just wanted to thank everyone out there who is consciously aware of the star mission task. I love you all.
Right.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Thank you. Well,
Yeah, you're welcome.
do you want to get off? I don't know. I have questions that people sent me, but I didn't write them down because I didn't think that we would get through this. And I can't even get onto them because they're on my phone. So if anybody has any thing else that they want to add or ask, now would be the time. We only have about
được quên khi cơn mưa đêm lại về. Em đã quên lời thề và ta như đông chìm sâu, không còn mơ em anh nhạt màu. Em chỉ cần mơ đâu em bay, chỉ còn là những cơn mưa vô giá cho bên mơ em không mơ anh. Anh một đêm mơ chỉ cần bên em không được còn nhớ và chỉ khôi không còn nhớ và người ta bên nhau như ngã tớ. Muốn nhớ về say em chỉ còn với em ở đây và anh như muốn chết đi nhưng không muốn em mơ mày. Tình yêu làm cho ta đau đầu, không em như mà mơ mộng. Anh như đang mong cầu và mưa bên em âu sầu. Chào các bạn mai mà mơ, chỉ có bên em nhưng là có mơ. Mà đã ra em muốn bên ai. Anh không mong gì hơn, chỉ mong em sẽ ở đây ôm anh thật gần. Anh chỉ mong đôi ta được có nhau mà đừng em đâu anh có em. Muốn em bên anh có em, ta sẽ trao nhau môi hôn thật sâu ôm anh.
Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Fuck me, I'm looking in the mirror, so foggy, but I've never seen clearer. I don't really think anyone can save me, and honestly I'm not really sure I want saving. I like to be my own worst enemy. There's no risk if you don't try at anything, so I'ma just keep buying everything. See you in the next life, have to be a better me. I don't think that my head's on straight, gotta flip it and grip it and go and get an x-ray. What's wrong with me? I just feel weight pushing on my chest and it squeezes till I suffocate. Better change my mindset, meditate. It's pretty cool that I'm alive and have better days. I could walk, see, hear, I should celebrate. Think I could change my mind, maybe elevate. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. Yeah, all I need are some better days. Cause all I want, and I pray, I believe in the better days. I'm kinda stuck between a rock and a hard place. Do I work hard or live at my pace? You're only young once, yeah that's all great, but I also want a future where I'm okay. Living life is doing lots of cocaine. Wait no, it's living with no shame. Wait no, it's sleeping in on Sundays. I guess it's different for each of us and that's okay. Well I just wanna be happy, how to get there? Glad that you asked me. I think it's different for everyone. Some of us need work, others need fun. Some of us need purpose to overcome. But try to do what you love when it's said and done. Cause there's so many differences in each of us. Trust your gut, it can show you what you want. Living life, every day, late at night, not okay. All I want, and I pray, all I need are some better days. much has determined your fate. I've never seen so clear. I feel the end and it's near. The day of reckoning's here. The sound of deafening fear.